Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
This is our Silo Season 2, Episode 8 reaction and review. Martha, how could you? How can you do this to these people of the Silo?
Listen, love will make you do all sorts of things. You will sacrifice anything for the person that you love. And Martha, she's holding on a lot of guilt to how her relationship ended in the first place. I think she's just looking back and being like, how can I help? It's hard when somebody you love is in such a terrible position. And if you can help, you do help. However, it is coming at a cost.
I am feeling a very interesting mix of emotions coming out of this reveal that she's working with Bernard now, because there is a major part of me, the human part of me, that is just wagging my finger in her general direction. However, the bizarre, crazy part of me is just like, oh, thank goodness I'm more invested in your story now, Walk, because you have been one of the characters that, not that I'm completely checked out, you're not Knox and Shirley level of indifference on my part, but you've never been my favorite character to watch, and now I'm a little bit more interested in what's going on with you.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you guys, if you were in Walk's position, what would you do? If I'm in Walk's position, I will burn anyone to the ground for the person that I love. When
Yeah.
I love somebody, or I'm, have a friendship with somebody or my family, I am 100% with that person. I will burn anybody to the ground for that person. So sorry, all the rest of the rebellion, you guys are going to have to just deal with it.
I have to say you're right, because it's just one of these situations where I'm a very loyal person, and I'm gonna be really loyal to the person who I love, who's the most loyal
Yeah.
to me. Yeah, sure, I'm not gonna love having to make the choice. I'm gonna feel bad, but at the same time, I'm not gonna feel bad that I'm helping the person that I love, stay around so that I might be able to reunite with them.
Absolutely. I think that this story is easily the one that I am the most invested in right now. It is not shocking to me that she's made this choice. That's been leading up to this for quite a few episodes now, that she is willing to do anything. She's turned on the camera. She's been trying to find a way to get any sort of message, to see her, anything to be able to help her. And this is the cost.
It's going to be very interesting to see where things go from there over the next couple of episodes. But we will get more into that. Juliet, her mystery new silo mates, if you will, before we do get into it. Hit that subscribe button, because that is the best way to make sure you do not miss any other silo coverage that we have coming your way. And also, of course, Severance is coming to Apple TV Plus really soon. They are starting what feels like an enormous marketing campaign for it right now, and we will be here to break down all of Severance this season. We don't want you to miss that.
Okay, everybody put on your hard hats, because we're about to have a very difficult talk about season 2 of Silo.
Okay.
I loved season 1 of Silo. It is one of my favorite seasons of TV of all time. It just surprised me at every turn. Every episode was like really rich and moving the story forward at a really solid pace. It didn't feel like it was, reckless or break things energy. It felt like it was moving at a really solid pace. So by the time we got to that final episode where the bar is in heaven, it's so good. I couldn't wait for season 2. I was just like, the minute, refreshing, waiting. As soon as it was on, I'm like, let's go. This season has felt like, especially the past 4 episodes, it just feels like it's on repeat. I'm watching Lucas try to crack a code. I am watching Shirley try to have a rebellion. I am watching Juliet in the water. I am watching the same episode over and over and over again. And I'm not saying that it's a bad season, but I am saying that it is a repetitive season. And in that way, it's starting to lose me a little bit.
I'm going to compare the season structure here to another show we covered on Apple TV Plus that we really, really liked, and that was Bad Sisters, which had an 8-episode season 2 that was a little bit shorter than season 1, but I felt like they packed so much in that I was sitting back and thinking that whole season, man, they could have done an episode 9, an episode 10, and I could have had more subplots. Here, I feel like this season could have been 8 episodes and they could have just condensed some of these past few episodes. It feels like some things are getting drawn out. Like, am I enjoying it because it's Silo? Sure, but at the same
Yes.
time, it is kind of leaving me with this feeling of, okay, I'm seeing a lot of the same things again and again, and I'm kind of struggling with certain aspects of that. And then we're coupling all of this with what is probably my get off my lawn, old man yells at cloud moment, which is just, as a legally blind person who cannot see out of their right eye at all, I can barely see what's going on with the Juliet storyline whatsoever. And I know that it's intentional. I get why, but it's just like, I want to kind of be able to figure some stuff out.
Listen, I can see better than you.
Yeah.
However, I do still have, I'm almost 50, so, my eyesight's not as good as it was. However, it is so dark, these Juliet scenes. It is reminding me of Game of Thrones season 8, episode 3, with that battle scene
Oh, yeah.
where it was just pure darkness, where I'm just like, I can't see what's going on, and my eyesight's not that bad that I shouldn't be able to see what's going on, where I'm
Yeah.
basically having to sit in a darkened room, make sure
Yeah.
there's no window open at all, because if there's any glare, I'm not going to be able to tell what's going on. Pump up my brightness to figure it out. Like, it is just too dark. And I know that they want to give us that atmosphere of
Mhm.
darkness, and there's nobody here, and it's sort of this creepy feel, and you can do that, but you can also have some sort of light, some sort of source light that allows us to see a little bit better than this. Is anybody else having flashbacks at Game of Thrones?
Now that you mention it, my answer to that question is yes. I couldn't. I know that there were some lighting issues. I just couldn't remember what episode of Game of Thrones that was. But yeah, it's an issue right now, and I think it's a bigger issue for me because the Juliet storyline is the one I am most frustrated with at this point. If for no other reason, it's also the one I'm the most invested in because I love Juliet as a character, and I want to see more and more of her. And it just feels like we're going out to dinner and they keep giving us appetizers and I'm just sitting here and being like, where's my steak? Like, where's my main course? The closest we get is we start to see a couple of these other new people in Silo 17, or new people, who knows how long they've been there, but we don't see them until the final minutes. And leading up to that, we didn't really get a lot of answers on anything.
No, we're not getting any answers on much of anything. She's been spending now 8 episodes trying to get a suit together to be able to get back to Silo 18. She is nowhere near anything at this point. The suit is gone. It's wherever Solo put it. Solo's gone. Nobody knows what is going on at this point. She's basically back to when she just showed up here, where there's new people and she doesn't really have any way to get back. And with there only being 2 episodes left, unless the new people have a secret way to get back, I don't know that we're going to get what I've been really hoping for, which is to have her back at Silo 18 by the end of this season. Is 2 episodes enough? I hope so, but it's not feeling like that. It's just, now we're going to have episode 9 where she's building some trust and trying to figure it out, because they're obviously not going to kill her. But I have felt like there's been so much time with Juliet, the action star, and not as much time with Juliet, the person who's really thinking things through to try to figure out, like, oh, this goes with this. Oh, they're lying to us. Oh, this is how we figure this out. Oh my goodness, this is how I move forward. It's more of like, I'm watching her go underwater every single episode now, which was really exciting at first. But now I'm just like, okay, well, I've been here already. It is rinse and repeat.
Listen, Rebecca Ferguson is just trying to qualify for the Olympics as a diver moving forward. This show is her training. No, it's too much. I will put on a tinfoil hat here if I'm going to sort of talk about what's going on with these new people.
Okay.
I feel like Solo probably knew that these people were around the entire time because it explains why he's been hiding in that vault.
It also explains those 2 dead bodies.
Yeah, it explains this too. I thought for most of the season that Solo probably took those people out himself and that he was, posing as one of them or something. But apparently, these people probably took those people out. Maybe one of them was Solo. There's still a lot we don't really know about that. But here's my other sort of feeling about all of this. Is Solo really gone? Is there a chance Solo is going to Leroy Jenkins this situation and charge in these final episodes? It's not like he and Juliet are best friends forever, but if he lets Juliet go and he already does not have a good relationship with these people, who else you got, Solo? What else are you gonna do?
Okay, my tinfoil hat is that Solo did kill those two people that were outside of the vault, and that those two people are part of this group of 3, that they were a group of 5, or they're a group of more, and that these people have been trying to get into the vault because they are trying to get some sort of answers, whether it's how do we fix the silo? How do we rebuild? How do we get out of here? Anything. And they know that in that vault are some answers. They don't know what the answers are, but they know that there's something in there. Yeah. Could it possibly help them? Maybe, but they know that what's happening right now is not helping them. And I think those two people tried to get in. I think that Solo did end up killing those people. And now here's the rest of the group who's like, yeah, we killed Solo. No, you didn't. You're going to need him to be able to get into the vault. And I still think that that's what the ultimate goal is.
This is the fun balancing act of everything when it comes to who to trust if you're Juliet, because it has been clearly established Solo is completely unhinged. He does not have everything together. He's very quick-tempered. We don't know if these other people are good or not. She may just be surrounded by really bad people who all have bad intentions for her, and she doesn't have that much time to figure this out.
Yeah, I actually don't think that they're bad people. I think that they are people trying to get some sort of answer so that they can survive. They're in a broken down silo trying to figure out how do we survive. We can't go outside, but this place is not going to last, so we need to figure it out. That's what I think is going on with them.
And this is where I get frustrated again, because these people are interesting. Solo, whether he's annoying or not, he's interesting. He's a compelling foil to Juliet. These characters together are all interesting in this show. Instead of giving us that, it is Juliet, go in the water for 20 minutes. We'll see you later.
No, these 3 people needed to be introduced 4 episodes ago or 3 episodes ago. Everything with Solo at the beginning was interesting, and then it got stretched out. And if they had brought in this episode like 2 episodes ago, it would have had things moving along to be like, okay, well, now who are these people?
Yeah, so I hope this changes. Like you've said, I don't know if there's going to be enough time to really stick everything over there. And getting back to Silo 18, there's some good stuff happening, but of course, at the same time, it is being coupled with a number of other things that I'm still struggling with, including everything with Knox and Shirley, including everything with Teddy. Like, how much am I supposed to be invested in Teddy at this point?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just, I will say, and I have already admitted my bias as finding Lucas a very engaging character. I found him trying to be like, I'm the big boss Shadow now, and going to Salvador Quinn's family and trying to, I don't know, flex his muscles in front of him and failing to be very entertaining.
I think it's difficult when Lucas is an entertaining character. He's interesting, and I relate to him because he feels like somebody who has insecurity, who isn't very confident about themselves. That is me. So in that way, he's the character I probably relate to the most. Who's like, oh, now you've been put in a position of power. Cool. I'm still a person who's insecure and doesn't have confidence, and people don't take me that seriously. So how do I get things done? Oh, I flash my blue badge and be like, see this color, this badge? This means something. So give me what I want. And I see why he's taking that route, but it's not necessarily the right route. It's not the wrong route. I mean, it has worked in some of the cases in this episode. But there's also something to be said for just being yourself, going to people, talking to Terrence, and just being like, this is what I'm trying to do. Are you willing to help me with it? Yeah, Meadows was already here years back about this. Yeah, we're willing to help you.
The problem here is that Lucas does not have any good mentor. There's apparently no on-the-job training when it comes to being a Shadow. Bernard has basically said, you go and do this, deal with it. I don't want anything to do with this. It's your job now. Goodbye. And it's a hard position for a guy like that to be in. But like you sort of said, he learns a little bit about what Meadows has done in the past. He really gets some deciphering work done here. I wish that this was a little bit more of a jaw-dropping reveal. This whole, oh, this has all been rigged from the start message,
Yeah.
because we could have all seen that coming. If we're going to make that season one comparison here and how much we love season one, that final scene of Juliet in season one in the finale is so astounding. And this show has been trying to live up to that ever since, and they haven't gotten there. Every single surprise I'm comparing to that, and this is not even comparable.
Yeah, I think that him getting that message, if you've gotten this far, you already know the game is rigged.
Yeah.
For all of us as the viewers, we already have a feeling that that is the case, you know, and we have seen outside, so we do know that it is. However, for Lucas, he doesn't. And for people that are in the silo, this is shocking to come across this type of news, because you've been taught something else for your whole life that you believe, and then to all of a sudden learn that information. I understand why for Lucas it's shocking, but you know, we're the viewers and we're the people who are like, let's get to the good reveals.
I think the biggest question I have for Lucas, and this can kind of be applied to Billings at the same time, because we saw a little bit of what's going on with Billings and the pictures that he's seen, is at what point do you get to the point of no return where you think, okay, this life of secrecy, this life that I'm being lived is not good enough, where everybody else needs to actually have a full sense as to what's going on here? At what point does the temptation to say something to the masses get too much? Because I think Billings is fundamentally a good person. You know, I think Lucas is somebody who he's doing this job because his other alternative is going to the mines and dying. Like, he's not Bernard's best friend. They're not going out for drinks after work here. At what point is this going to change? Because I feel like it's going to.
I'd like to see, this is going to sound really diabolical,
Okay,
but
let's hear it.
I feel like what Rob said in the last episode to Bernard, oh, you don't have any allies. I feel like, because he brought it up again in this episode where he basically said to Lucas, was like, yeah, once you've done whatever it is you're doing for Bernard, you're just going to get cast aside. I know, because I was you, and now I'm the judge doing nothing, cast aside. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to you. I invested my whole life in him, and here I am. So all the best to you, guy. That it's like, yes, unless Bernard really invests in Lucas and actually keeps him as an ally, like, he is going to need allies. There's too many people now where there's like the Knox and Shirley that are doing their rebellion. You've got, you know, Lucas who's there only because he has to be, sort of thing, and Juliet's off doing her thing, and Rob and Camille are figuring other things out. Like, there is nobody who's really here with Bernard anymore. And if one person gets enough information and they've had it with Bernard and they're just over the loudspeaker like, shh, hello everybody, you've been being lied to and here's the proof, it's then you've got 10,000 people against Bernard and there's nothing he can do. He can't hold this together by himself. He needs more allies.
If that happens, that is my equivalent of the season one finale moment where I will lose my mind, because that would be so entertaining. Where I am right now, and this is not to make this whole video into all the reasons why I'm feeling frustrated about this season, but we have, and you mentioned a lot of these characters already, that there are so many different people in Silo 18 operating with their own agenda right now. And it kind of feels like they've just dumped all the Legos onto the floor and nobody's trying to put anything together, because Sims has his agenda. Camille has her agenda. They're not fully on the same page. Billings has what's going on there. Then there's Knox and Shirley. And now Martha's kind of operating on her own agenda. It's just that all these people are kind of operating independently of each other. Some people know, sure, what other people are doing, but that doesn't mean they approve or agree of it. Is that unless some of these people actually come together, I don't know how much any of this is ever going to change, because they're just all so scattered. Strength in numbers is a lesson I understood, I don't know, when I was playing basketball in the 4th grade, and yet these people have not figured this out, and Bernard can just sit back and cackle, because even if he doesn't have anybody, if these other people have nobody, then he just wins by default.
Absolutely. And they are not coming together. And because of that, and now because of the position that Walk is in, where she is feeding information, the rebellion is going to just fall apart, which it kind of needs to at this point, because I don't want to watch season 3 Rebellion Part 2. I'm not actually that interested in the rebellion part, because it has just kind of fizzled into a big nothing burger that it didn't get anyone to the doors. Nobody's outside. Nothing is happening. No one has gone for a cleaning. Nothing is really happening with that. I don't want to watch another season of that unless somebody's going to be busting through those doors and trying to run across the hill. So it either needs to escalate where it feels like that's not what's happening anymore, or it needs to de-escalate and Bernard gets everybody under some sort of control where people are behind the scenes trying to get information, trying to put things together so that they can go about it another way.
I think that latter idea is the correct idea, because to me, big picture, it's just, I don't necessarily want to watch a plan long term if I know that that plan is not going to work. I have mentioned many times here at the channel my love for a good old-fashioned bank heist. And if I know that the security guard outside the bank is just going to stop everything before anybody gets inside, I'm kind of just wasting my time. And because these people, they're all so desperate, they also have their like different thoughts and agendas, I know it's not going to work. So to me, my point of interest right now is, maybe plot behind the scenes, do a little bit more of the Camille route, and then cross our fingers and hope that Juliet makes it back there somehow by the end of this season. And then from there, we can really start cooking with gas a little bit. Like, we can actually start to have a plan that will work.
Okay, how many of you out there believe Bernard when he says that there were rebellions every 20 years before Quinn?
Okay, this is where I'm going to get in trouble, because it's always going to sound, I don't want it to sound like I am Team Bernard and I'm putting on his jersey, but I think a lot of things Bernard says are probably true.
I think it's true as well.
Okay, good. I'm diabolical.
No.
Okay.
I think that is true. And I think he's just spinning it, this idea that Quinn was this hero that saved the silo. I think it's, whatever Quinn was doing at that time is probably not as noble as he's making it out to be like, oh, he took all the books and got rid of all the hard drives, and then he put something in the water, make everybody forget. So we've had no problems for 140 years now. He's our savior. It's like, okay, some of those things that he's doing is not good. Like, okay, great. He stopped the rebellions, but at what cost? The taking away of knowledge of, putting something in everybody's water? Like, none of that's good.
Yeah, like, we all know that Bernard is capable of lying. He's done his big nothing to see here folks speeches multiple times, but I kind of feel like when it's big picture, the workings of the silo, like what's on the outside, he's been proven to actually be kind of in the right. It's just there are certain parts of it that are not truthful, but the end result is still the same. And Bernard can be a very bad dude, but could also still be understandably telling the truth, because if you're keeping people in a society like this where they all don't know exactly what's going on, of course there's going to be rebellions. It's like nothing about there being one every 20 years to me is unrealistic at all. Like,
no, not at all. I mean, the thing that Bernard does the best is in his lies, is that his lies are 90% true.
Yeah. And unfortunately, he's really, really good at it. And that's what makes Bernard a good character to watch. I just want, in these final couple episodes this season, for some of these characters to actually come together. Because, and you alluded to this, if they're not going to come together, let's just end this now. Let's just put us all out of our misery. Let's just take a couple of these characters out of the equation, because somebody probably needs to go this season, because otherwise it's just going to feel like we're spinning our wheels entirely.
Somebody needs to get sent to clean this season. We had 3 out to clean last season. Nobody now.
Goodbye, Knox. It was nice knowing you. I don't need to see you anymore. Listen, I'm not trying to be like a denier of true love if him and Shirley are meant to be, but I'm getting my love stories elsewhere, so I'm okay.
Oh yeah, we're getting your love stories right now.
Okay, we've got, Sims and Camille. There's kind of something going on there. Sure, she's not telling him the truth about everything.
Oh, well, of course, they're married.
Yeah. Lucas, if Juliet comes back, you can go and grab a jukebox and
Oh
stand
my
outside her
God.
door and play it.
For me, I mean, the show's not really about
No.
the love stories. For me, I will say though that Bernard and Meadows love story, there was something really nice there. I really appreciate a show
Yeah.
that will give a love story of people who are a bit older. And
Yeah.
this show did that last season. They've done a little bit this season. And there's not that many shows out there that do that. They always want to have, like, the young, hot romance. And, it's not always about a more mature love story.
No, I like that story too, and I also just think Tim Robbins can do anything. So just give him good material, and he's
Mhm.
going to run with it.
Yeah.
Let's just hope there's good material the rest of the way. But that's where we are coming out of Silo season 2, episode 8. Do you guys feel like we are spinning our wheels at this point? These past few episodes, let us know. Hit that subscribe button. More Silo content coming, plus Severance. And if you do want to support us further, join our Patreon. That link is in the description below. In January, we are covering exclusively there in video form The Pit on Max, and then also Prime Target on Apple TV Plus. Thank you guys so much for your support. We'll see you here next time.